Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are, I think, past all of the bad internet issues, so I'm gonna keep going here. Alright. It has been quite a few hours since I last looked at this, so let's go ahead and bring up that text box just a little bit bigger again. Remind you what we are doing today. Alright, so our rules. This is the solo Alpha 2 Omega playthrough. We are doing this with lasers. Hi, Tapsoid. Welcome. Good to see you today. We have rules. No purchases with real money. We must show our wallet at the beginning and end of the stream. And we must use lasers for all combat. We have a couple of goals here that we want to reach. Hi, Jenner. Welcome. How you doing today? We're gonna try to get early Sancha content. That means we're gonna aim for the small Sancha anomalies, but that'll take us a couple of weeks. Hi Snoopy, how you doing today? We're gonna try to earn Omega without spending any real money at all, which means we're gonna have to deal with a couple of problems. One of them being that we're gonna get tech locked at some point. And then we want to reach Tech 10. This will give us a lot of options on where we want to go from there. And I want to try to solo DR1, we know how to do that, and what kind of capabilities we need. And I want to try to learn DR5 solo. So, those are our goals. I am all for... I am all for like having people help out and things like that. Solo doesn't mean that you have to be alone for everything, but as much as possible, we will do everything ourselves. Alright, let's get rid of that here. It seems like the internet has calmed down from earlier today, so we are going to continue our tutorial where we left off. Here is our wallet from the end of last stream. Right. Let's get back to that tutorial and then we'll do some grinding. Everything seems a lot more responsive now. That's good. It's just having us check out a few different ships. Like I said, we have a couple of ships that are going to be really good for us. One of those ships being the Coercer Navy issue and the Punisher Assault. I think both of those are going to be really good, but only if we can get Omega by the time we get Punisher Assault. Otherwise, we're stuck with the Coercer Navy.
How are you feeling, pilot?
So that was telling you a little bit about the map. We're going to go through all that as we go. Just getting through these tutorials is an absolute pain. We of course cannot train planetary. Alright, looks like we're gonna deliver him somewhere.
Autopilot engaged.
So how is everybody today?
Undocking.
Now that all the craziness has died down a little bit.
Warp drive active.
Do I sound alright from where I'm at? Do I need to move anything?
Docking request accepted.
Oh, a bunch of lore related things that won't matter to you in about a month. This is showing you how you can get back to a location that has your items.
Autopilot engaged.
You'll enter your inventory, you'll go to
Undocking.
the personal assets, and then it will show you all of your items.
Warp drive active.
You shouldn't hear nearly as many clicks and pops from me, or my breathing and stuff nearly as bad. Or my
Docking
sniffles.
request accepted. Undocking.
Alright. We are going to the pirate zone here.
Warp drive active.
Gonna activate our reactive hardware. Always activate your tank before you enter a combat area. We're just gonna do our best to keep attacking things. Yep, 14 more streams to 100 streak. That's pretty awesome. Thank you for sticking around and hanging out. It really does mean a lot. This is your standard combat. You're just gonna kind of orbit. I don't know why auto orbit wasn't working there. We'll fix that.
Docking request accepted.
Yeah, this is a lot nicer now that everything's calmed down. No more weird sun flare. Ooh, they gave us a lot of stuff. Very nice. We're getting a nice little hanger of items now. Yeah, 36 minutes for Sancha. Honestly, I could probably just take my Imperior and go loot. To be honest. But I don't know if we're going to allow being a loot thief. One armor repair. One afterburner. And one reactive armor hardener. After that, they want us to put on a web of fire. Okay, let's claim an encounter mission. They want us to do this introduction to beginner here. This is how you're going to get most of your content. Accessing the encounters page and going through a bunch of encounters for your average grinding.
Autopilot engaged. Undocking.
In this case, it's going to undock us ourselves.
Destination reached.
Let's go ahead and stack our modules. It's usually a lot nicer.
Warp drive active.
Alright, this is our new ship, the Punisher. Looks pretty awesome. I wouldn't consider it our best early ship, but it's pretty good.
We're under attack.
Need to make sure I turn on auto orbit and all that.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
Let's see, we can just barely start to hit these guys out at like 8 kilometers. There goes auto orbit kicking in. Always keep an eye on your modules in case you need to activate them again, or you need to turn them off because your capacitor gets low.
Autopilot engaged. Warp drive active.
This is currently telling us that Omega is available. We're gonna get that the hard way. If you want to take that off your screen, you can select it and hit remove from
Destination
overview
reached.
or whatever it's called.
Warp drive active.
There we go. Now it's completing all missions. Alright, got a few things to kill here.
We're under attack.
Damage will pretty well stack up here.
Shield damaged.
We are not a shield-based ship. We are an armor ship. So when we hit armor, we might want to pulse our repairers a couple of times. But we don't want to leave it running right now. We don't have the capability to leave it running.
Enemy ships detected.
Okay, we're probably going to focus on this Tormentor
We're
first.
under attack.
I think he is probably a bigger threat. Each ship has its own resistance profile here. So, because we are running lasers, we do EM and thermal.
Armor damaged.
Go ahead and wrap up a little bit here. It's almost hard to keep up with these ships sometimes. Alright, we have completed that mission. This is showing you how to get back to your home.
Autopilot engaged.
You will be using that a lot.
Warp drive active.
Reminder to always fill up your armor repair while you have the opportunity.
Shield damaged.
Warp drive active. Desta docking request accepted.
It wants us to use the small laser beam operations skill chip. Puts us at level 3 for that.
Undocking.
Okay. Looks like we've got that tutorial glitch. Sometimes it'll load, other times it will not. I believe it will not this time. Alright. Whenever that happens, we'll just exit out and reload into the game. Tutorial is pretty much the buggiest thing in this game. It really does not do very well. There we go. What's it doing now? Alright, let's hit go to
Undocking.
location, and maybe this time it'll work. There we go. Alright, so we're gonna go kill a pirate here.
Warp drive active.
We're under attack.
We utilize our capabilities to hold him in place so we can do more damage.
Enemy ships detected.
Okay, so we're not actually supposed to win this, but it has been won by me before. Hey, Outlaw, welcome, welcome.
Shield damaged.
Actually, it's doing really well. Normally, it's a lot tougher. Good.
Docking request accepted.
Good to see you, Outlaw. How you doing today? We are currently working on our Alpha to Omega playthrough with the lasers this time, and solo. This will be a pretty constant thing for us over the next year. I have already applied to exit out of that. ISK is going to be your main form of currency. It is highly important in this world. Everything you do will require some amount of ISK. Yeah. There's not a whole lot of tips and tricks that I can offer up, but I'm going to do my best as we go on to show you how you can get a pretty nice advantage early on. Okay, we're going to be given a
Undocking.
ship for this as well. We're going to have a pretty good arsenal starting off by doing the tutorial, always good to do. Ah, good, good.
Warp drive active.
Yeah, always good to have a second account as well. Preferably a second account, not just a second character. If you're able to...
We're under attack.
If you're able to actually run 2 accounts at the same time, it will benefit you very, very much. With frigates, you kind of want to preemptively start orbiting your second target. They are quick, so they do get out of range pretty early. Ah, good. Yep, that'll work just fine. I know there's a few phones that can run multiple accounts at the same time, but there's not many. Looks like we'll be grabbing this loot.
Docking request accepted.
Alright, we now have a magnate. Good. Magnates are really nice to have, especially for hauling things around. Gonna be very important to us. We'll use it to move a lot of material and items to various locations, whether we want to move locations or we want to move it to a trade center to sell. We can also use it for hauling missions. Which is kind of what we're doing here, is we're hauling this stuff to another location for a mission.
Warp
The
drive
Magnate
active.
in particular has a pretty good cargo hold, which is why we want to use it. Yeah. Well, you can probably trade it into...
Yes, docking request accepted.
I don't know. You can probably trade it into something and get some use out of it. Like, if you can trade it to do small Sancha anomalies, you'd be really well off. Or if you can trade it
Autopilot engaged.
to do some low-level dormant realms,
Undocking.
that might work out as well.
Warp drive active.
But it does have to be Tech 7 in order to do any of that. It'll be even better if you can fund
Yes,
the
docking
Omega
request
for
accepted.
it with your other character. And then once it's funded, you just need it to be doing content that keeps it funded. we actually do want to kind of finish this. There we go. 4 days on that. 25 hours on that. That's not too bad. Let's go ahead with armor. Train that up. There we go. Alright. Going back to our Punisher. Okay.
Undocking. Warp drive active.
One of the nice things about having, like, an alt character
We're under attack.
is that you can carry them in Dormant Realms after Tech 7. Once they are Tech 7, and then they can start funding Omega for themselves. But you just have to have them be carried.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
We're taking some damage. Oh, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. And we are probably gonna die to this, to be honest. But we are supposed to die to this. Yep, there we go. That is pretty normal for the tutorial.
Docking request accepted.
You can see we get right back into our ship. And now we have a coercer. You can actually beat him, but you are supposed to die to him. That's why they give you the bigger ship. Alright, what's it want us to do? Alright, here is our biggest and best ship that we have at the moment. Yeah, tutorial can be fast. Okay, before we continue with this, I actually want to repackage this thing And I think I want to repackage this thing. That way we have another higher tier weapon here. We can have a second web, why not? Yeah. Alright. Well, okay, we have our supplies today. This will give us some rigs. Nothing that I really need there. Okay, let's get back to that tutorial.
How are you feeling?
Right, 15,000 years ago, our forefathers came through the Eve Gate. Were trapped in New Eden and lost contact with the civilization known as Earth. This is the whole backstory to why we are where we are. It was split into 4 nations, which found war. And then from there, a bunch of pirates got together and said, "Bugger you all. We're making our own thing." And that's where we are today. I had a little bit of glitch there, as it tried to load all of the information at one time. Security level is usually the most important thing here. So from 1.0 to 0.5, that is high sec, you cannot be attacked. From 0.5 to 0.0, or from 0.4 to 0.0, it is considered low sec. You can be attacked, although there are a couple of areas where you have some protection, that being at stations and at gates. In 0.0 and lower, all the way to -1, you can be attacked anywhere at any time without any sort of problems. Without protection, I guess I should say. Alright. They want us to look into a special coercer trainer here, which would be a very nice upgrade. Alright. Let's go ahead and head into this mission. Oh, this is the coercer. This is a destroyer, which we have no skills for.
Warp drive active.
Actually, we have some skills. It's not all that bad.
We're under attack.
You see, our capacitor is a lot better, and our health is definitely quite a bit more.
Damaged.
But we still need to use a rep, because that is how this
Enemy
works.
ships detected. We're under attack.
Destroyers still have a really weird spot in this game. They're not as good as they could be. And that's just an unfortunate side effect
Docking request accepted.
of being in between a fast ship and a quite tanky and powerful ship, you just don't reach either end very well. Alright, so they want us to throw on a neutralizer. I think he's trying to load the map. Yeah. Neutralizers will take capacitor from your enemy and completely destroy it. They want us to deliver this to Amar. This will be our ITC. Of course, they want us to sell it to the lowest income, which really sucks. Because I would have liked to have sold
Alien
that
ships detected.
in Gina for 120,000. Alright, so they want us to use our neutralizer. Now, something to note in this game that this does not work
Warp
in
drive
PvE.
active.
Usually PvE enemies will have a pretty, high resistance to capacitor neutralizing and Nosferatu. It is nice to have a Nosferatu. Because that means these enemies will always keep you topped up, but a neutralizer won't do anything to save you in PvE. In player vs. player PvP, neutralizers can definitely help you kill something.
Docking request accepted. Autopilot engaged. Undocking.
Right, it's taking us to a different location
Warp
to
drive active.
pick up an item, and then I believe we'll be bringing it back. I'm gonna go ahead and stack our weapons just to make it look nicer. Alright, I will be back in just a minute.
Destination reached.
Oh, it wants us to do something. Alright, we have scanned the system. And it wants us to head back.
Autopilot engaged.
The thing with Eve is, and Eve Echoes and Eve Online, you're not necessarily flying your own ship. You're more juggling the modules to deal with whatever situation is after you. And very rarely you will actually fly your ship by clicking in space and having it do what it needs to. Most of the fun that I have here in Eve Echoes is building ships, playing around with various ideas,
Warp
upgrading
drive
them,
active.
and then seeing how fast I can run content. Or how cheaply I can run content.
Desk docking request accepted.
It is definitely one of the most fun things about this game. Alright, we can't actually use that. But the devs knew we could not use it, so that's good. Alright, now we're gonna get ourselves a mining ship
Undocking.
after this. We're not gonna do any mining here on this playthrough. I do have a playthrough that's kind of getting started, but stalled out a little bit.
Warp drive active.
One day I'll come back to it, but I think for now I'd rather focus on the combat side of things. Oh boy. Now that we ramped him, we can actually start doing damage more reliably. There's some good damage actually coming off of this ship here.
Docking request accepted.
Alright. This was the last ship that they were going to give us. It wants us to upgrade our tech level. It's also going to show us that we can buy Omega. It's also going to show us that we can buy this, or we can just claim. Alright, what does it want us to do?
How are you feeling, pilot?
Got a few more things to do. Yeah, it's not too hard to hit Tech 4. Inventory. Ship hangar. Alright, this is an industrial ship. This is called the Venture. It is for mining and getting in quick and leaving just as quickly. It's also the lowest level of mining ship that you can get in the game. What does it want us to put on? An armor rep? Oh, a small shield booster. Okay. There we go.
Undocking.
I didn't even see that in the mix of all the items that we have now.
Warp drive active.
Alright, it wants us to mine this asteroid. Also gonna lock it up. We only have a range of 17.25 kilometers. And this is mining. You just kind of float around with your lasers on a rock and enjoy it. There we go.
The asteroid belt has been mined out.
We must now run away, because there is a
Warp drive
phantasm
active.
coming after us. That is one ship that I really want to have on this account, is the Phantasm and the Fiend. I am super looking forward to it.
Warp drive active.
I think it's going to put us on grid again. Do I have to collect that ancient remains?
Warp drive active.
There we go.
Docking
Okay.
request accepted.
Worked out in the end. Sometimes it takes you twice to complete it. Right, it's telling us that skills can be learned to make this a better amount. Okay, now it wants us to build the coercer trainer thing. Industry. Start manufacturing. Coercer special trainer. I'm gonna hit start. You'll notice here that it takes a whole bunch of materials, and in this particular circumstance, we get completely finished in a very short amount of time. Normally, it would take you a few hours, or a few days, or a month for some things. And it all depends on what you're building. And how good your skills are. Alright, we now have the Coercer Special Trainer. It wants us to repackage our old Coercer. And we're going to throw on these Mark III pulse lasers here. Okay, we're going to go back to the armor repair, the Nosferatu, or no, the reactive armor hardener, I'm pretty sure. And it wants us to put that neutralizer back on. It's going to show us that we can put rigs on here now. So let's go ahead and put our burst aerators and our capacitor controls. This is now our most powerful ship that we have.
Undocking.
But I think when we get out of this and we do some grinding, I want to look into a Executioner 2.
Warp drive active.
Always make sure your tank modules are active.
We're under attack.
I think here the Nosferatu actually does help. I just don't feel
Shield damaged.
like it's worth the effort when I could take a lot better.
Armor damaged.
We probably would have been better off just leaving the tank running,
Docking request
but that
accepted.
is fine. Hey, look at that! Jitter has reached a 70 stream streak.
How are you feeling, pilot?
You are close behind Snoopy. Alright, what's it want us to do here? Just clean? Alright.
How are you feeling, pilot?
I'm gonna start looking at our road to set sail here. Another 50,000 skill points. Have to take a screenshot outside the station here. Alright, it looks like I'm gonna have to go back into the tutorial here.
How are you feeling, pilot?
Nope. Looks like we have completed all of the tutorial. Very nice. We now have to look at the advanced
How are you
tutorial
feeling, pilot?
and road to set sail. So under our advanced tutorial, we need to either sell items on the market for 500,000 ISK, or get 300,000 in bounties, or complete 3 encounters. Okay, I think we can manage that. I think this is fine, but there's no use in having it. I don't think having the secondary thing there would be good. I think we're fine. Alright. I guess from here, let's have a look at what we've got. So we now have an Executioner with full skills. It might be a good choice to fly. Tormentor, we could probably do without this. Punisher, we've got some skills. I like the armor resistance bonus. That could be useful to us. Magnate will help us move things around, so nice thing to have. A Coercer that we have no skills for. And then we have the Coercer Special Trainer, which we also don't have skills for. I think our best bet is to fly the Punisher at this moment. We're gonna go ahead and repackage this special trainer here. I don't care about those rigs, they don't matter to me. I'm gonna also repackage all this stuff so I can stack it and make it so it doesn't take up nearly as much room. Right, what do we have? I can use a destroyer engineering chip. That is nice. None of those matter to me, because they are not laser. Let me check the market on this stuff. See if we can sell any of it and get a little bit of an advantage. 100,000 for Venture Trainer. That's interesting. I could definitely take that to Gina and sell that. See what a coercer is worth. Not really worth it. I think this thing is too important for us. We're gonna need it. We won't get any money from the Imperior, and we really should just repackage it and call it a day. See what we can get out of this Executioner. Alright, looks like the only one we really want to sell is the Venture Trainer. So let me go ahead and jump into that. We'll take it to Gina, sell it for 100,000 ISK. In order to find Gina, you can do this one of two ways. You can go to the market and select literally almost anything. And as long as somebody has a location here in Gina, you can hit set as destination.
Autopilot
And we can head
engaged.
there.
Undocking.
I could realistically sell this Venture Trainer for like
Warp drive
500,000 ISK, but I'd rather just have the immediate amount and move on. The reason we're going to Gina is that is where everybody puts anything up to sell. It's also where anybody has anything to buy as well. Very rarely you will find any sort of external location except for Gina. And if there is a location that somebody
Warp
is
drive
selling
active.
that is not in Gina, it is usually either they were too lazy to move it, or it is a trap. So please do not make the mistake of buying something out in nullsec. Unless it is guaranteed that you can get to that location.
Warp drive
HiSec,
active.
like we said, is anywhere with 1.0 to 0.5. You'll find that rating up here in the top left. LowSec is 0.4 to 0.1. And NullSec is 0.0 all the way to -1. This is highly important because in HiSec you cannot be attacked. In LowSec, you can be attacked, with some exceptions. And in NullSec,
Warp drive
that
active.
is the 0.0 all the way to -1, you can be attacked anywhere at any time, and the person that attacks you will not suffer any consequences. It is highly dangerous, and it is not easy to move around.
Warp drive active.
Warning, capacitor running low.
Warp drive active.
It's going to take a little bit of time for us to get to Gina.
Warp drive active.
In the meantime, like I said, we do have a few tech trees that we can look at, or ship trees that we can look at in our progression. Our best early ship here is going to be the Executioner 2. That Webifier capacitor need and the afterburner speed increase is going to be really nice for us, along with that 12% small laser damage.
Warp drive active.
It's a little bit different from the special trainer that we have. We have an extra high slot weapon here on the trainer, but we're not trained into this. So if we can get our hands on an Executioner 2, that would be awesome. Unfortunately, they are about 2 million ISK, and we only have, right now, 52,000.
Warp drive active.
Let's see if we can get some skills going for that ship. What do I need? I need Afterburner, and that's all I really need. Okay. Very nice. Afterburner skills. Interesting. Let's go to cruising technology, and let's get our
Warp drive
Afterburner
active.
skills here. We're gonna go to level 5 on that, because we'll pretty much max it out anyway. Actually, no, let's go down to level 4, and then we'll level up our small laser upgrade here for 38,000. And we will put that at level 4 as well. Gonna get a little bit of extra that we need
Warp
for that.
drive active.
But that'll give us a little bit more damage, it'll give us a bit more range and stability, capacitor stability, so that'll be nice.
Desdocking request accepted.
Now I'm pretty sure we are completely locked out of advanced skills until we get Omega. So that is its own problem. Alright. And then we are going to sell this for the immediate 100,000 ISK. I will take it. And because of taxes, we only actually got 80,000. So we need to get some skills in trade.
Autopilot engaged. Undocking.
Alright, and now we head back. Actually, I'm going to show you a little trick here. Instead of heading straight back, we are going to select ourselves and we're going to hit self-destruct. And this will take us back to our location that we started in. Lots of cool ships going past us. These are battleships. Look at that. Very cool. We're gonna have one of these one day. This is an Abaddon. Can't really tell if it was a special ops or a bomber or what it was. But I definitely want to have one of those on this character in the future. But that means we need to hit Tech 10. At the earliest, we can have it at Tech 9. But before that, we will probably have a Nightmare. There goes a Prophecy and a Scorpion or a... is that a Scorpion or is that a Rattlesnake? It's a Rattlesnake. Wish there was a better way to tell when they're golden like that. There goes another Rattlesnake, I believe. One of the more popular battleships in this game. And rightly so, it is an absolute monster of a ship. Alright, we should be pretty close to exploding here. 9 seconds. There goes an Apocalypse Striker. That's also another ship that we will be looking at getting in the future as well. Although I do want the Abaddon first. Just because I like brawling a little bit more. Alright, we're back in our home system. Let's go ahead and jump in what makes the most sense for us. Executioner or Punisher. I think the Punisher is just a little bit better. We're going to have a little bit lower damage, but we're going to have better resistance in our armor. Actually, we're going to have a little bit higher damage, I think, because we're at 8% rather than 5%. Alright. Let's do that then. Alright, and we need to fit this ship with a few different things here. I'm gonna need a web of fire. I'm gonna need a reactive hardener. I'm gonna need an afterburner. And I am going to need a armor repair. This is a pretty standard setup. The other option I would have is to replace this web of fire with a Nosferatu.
Autopilot disabled.
But that's not a priority for me right now. Let's go ahead and go to our map. We're going to go to a very specific location. That location is known as Clortler. And we're going to find it by going to High Efficiency Encounter System. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Because we should be pretty close. I think it's up here. There it is. This has labeled Clortler as our destination of choice. It is 17 jumps away. It is going to take us through Losec. That is why our...
Undocking.
Actually, I don't even think we're going to go through Losec. I think we're going to be in 0.5 systems. Yeah, we're gonna go through a couple of low-sec
Warp drive
locations
active.
right at the end there, and that is why this is yellow. That is indicating that you are going through a low-sec area. Man, 26 DPS is not a lot.
Warp
Oh,
drive
these are
active.
the wrong lasers.
Autopilot engaged.
Good thing I checked. Those were the wrong lasers.
Autopilot engaged.
It's always good to check your fitting one more time before you
Warp
exit and
drive
do anything.
active.
Or to check your fittings as you're going. Because sometimes you equip the wrong thing.
Warp drive active.
I do really like the look of the Punisher. It's a nice looking ship. It's got a lot of fun details on it. And only the Amar Empire does this kind of stuff.
Desdocking request accepted.
Alright, let's swap out these weapons here for a Mark III. Mark III. And Mark III. There we go. We've done the right thing now. There we go, 60 DPS. It's not a whole lot. But it does do the job.
Autopilot engaged. Undocking.
So our goal for today
Warp
is to
drive
try to
active.
hit like 2 million ISK. So we can upgrade to the Executioner 2. In the meantime, let's have a look at Concord Pass. This is the main way
Warp
where
drive
we will be
active.
making money early on. But it will require us to spend some of our ISK. Not even worth doing that. I think killing the NPCs is going to be a lot better.
Warp drive active.
Gonna go through a lot of ISK here. And now we're just looking for the time online. Ah, we didn't quite get it. Okay,
Warp drive active.
that's fine. That is okay. we're going to have quite a long journey here. Portler is an important system. It is one of the many, what is considered a high-sec island. It is a high-sec location surrounded by low-sec and null-sec locations, which means that for the encounter system, you will find that more encounters will spawn in your area, allowing you to grind a lot easier.
Warp drive active.
We're going to be one lowly little frigate in the mix of a bunch of battleships. If we're lucky, we might be able to find someone who will let us gather their boxes, and that'll make us a lot of money very quickly.
Warp drive active.
So if you are in Portler, and you want me to come gather your boxes, because you don't need them, I will be more than happy.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active.
I'm pretty sure in order to do the small
Warp drive
Sancha
active.
incursion encounters anomalies, I'm gonna need somewhere around 200 DPS. So we got a while to go. It'll probably end up being on a destroyer that we do it the first time.
Warp drive active.
But for now, we're kind of relegated to encounters.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active.
Alright, we have about 4 jumps left. Like I
Warp
said,
drive
this is a
active.
little bit of a journey. It is definitely going to take us some time.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active.
I don't remember, is there anything free that I can get anywhere else? I've already done the not the visual protocol. I did the lock out thing. The item lock.
Warp drive active.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? Okay, it looks like we've done just about everything we can right now.
Destination reached.
Alright. So there should only be a couple of stations, one station. Let's go ahead and dock there.
Warp drive active.
Actually, instead of doing that, we're just gonna set our home as Fortler.
Docking request accepted.
Alright. We are here, which means we are gonna go to the cloning center. And we are gonna set this as our home. Fantastic. Now, every time we kill ourselves, we will go straight back here. Right, as for our encounters, let's see what we got here. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do any of the normal missions right now with our current setup. So we're just going to roll for the beginner stuff. Oh, we only got 3 missions, huh?
Autopilot engaged. Undocking. Destination reached.
As always, make sure you turn on your
Warp
tank.
drive active.
We're under attack.
Okay, now we are in the process of fighting. While we're doing this, I am going to check which of my characters is actually in control of the corporation. Like I said, we're going to be using our preemptive thing here. Alright, and we have now accepted our alt into the alt corp. And we are going to join the alt corp. Cool. This also means that we are now part of a corporation, and we can claim our skill points when we need it.
Enemy ships detected.
Same progress here. We're gonna go for these cruisers. So this is a disruptor here. What it is doing to us, it is making it harder for us to lock on. It won't affect us too much though.
Shield damaged.
Alright, we're gonna start repairing pretty soon. Since we've got a little bit of time here. There we go. Now we start wrecking. We're going to keep an eye on that capacitor, because the more we use it, the worse we're going to be. got 23,000 from that.
Autopilot engaged. Destination reached.
So yeah, we got 23,000 from the mission reward, which is really nice. And then we'll also get a payout for killing these enemies at some point.
We're under attack. Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
Alright, next one.
Warp drive active.
We're under attack.
Alright, let's get this going. It'll be nice when we can get a nanocore for these ships. Be a nice increase in capability.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
You'll notice that I am not, like, constantly running my repair right now. And that is so I have enough capacity at all times. Alright, looks like we have completed our advanced tutorial. I can go sell another thing there. I wonder if we can run a level 3 small anomaly. I'm thinking we probably could now.
Warp drive active.
Couple of destroyers.
We're under attack.
We're doing something that's referred to as speed tanking. The faster we go, and the tighter the orbit, the more likely it is that we are going to be able to avoid damage. So I'm going to set a orbit there. I'm going to change our auto orbit to default orbit. Okay, which is fine. And we'll just outpace the guns. If we are going too fast,
Enemy ships detected.
our turrets may not keep up with us.
We're under attack.
As you can see there, we had to use our repair a little bit more because we were going straight at this target, and he was able to hit us because of that. But now that we're in a tight orbit, he's not going to do nearly as much to us. And this is what's called speed tanking. We're still taking damage from the other frigate here, but it's not nearly as bad. Oh, good, a Nosferatu. I need that Nosferatu. What I'll do here is I will dock up after this. And we're gonna put that Nosferatu on. That way I can just leave my armor repair going, and it won't
Warp
matter.
drive active.
I can do without the web of fire. That's fine. But the Nosferatu is highly important to my survival.
Docking request accepted.
We will probably make more ISK on reprocessing these. It's actually a good price for one of these. Way out there. Alright, let's go ahead and put on that Nosferatu. Nosferatus are kind of the secondary thing that you need for survival. It's, what it does is take capacitor from your enemy and give it to you. So long as your enemy has more capacitor than you do, it will continue to work. Alright, I will be back in just a minute. Alright, I am back. So something you'll notice here is now we are cap stable. If I take this off, we only had 5 minutes of capacitor that we could use if we were running absolutely everything at the same time. But, as long as we have this Nosferatu attached to an enemy, and within that optimal range, we'll be cap stable, which means I can just leave all of my modules running all the time. It'll be highly valuable for my survival. Alright, we got our first bounty tick at 83,850. That is pretty good. Waiting another 50 seconds for our encounters, or we can just go kill that other small anomaly.
Undocking. Warp drive active.
Alright.
We're under attack.
And now you will see kind of a similar situation here, but now I can just run my Nosferatu all the time.
Shield damaged.
You can see our capacitor is just not going down when we're healing. And that's really awesome. NPC enemies like this do have capacitor, but they are so cap stable that most of the time they're considered like, not able to be tapped out. So you can just apply your Nosferatu to any of these, and you will always have a benefit.
Shield damaged.
Like, I don't even need this repair right now, but it's good to have.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
Gonna get as close as we can.
Shield damaged.
And now we are circling our enemy once again. Oh, look at that. I get to use my armor repair.
Armor damaged.
And we healed all the way up to full. And I just don't have to worry about it. That's what makes it so good. Now, if these enemies are doing more damage than I can heal, then it becomes a problem. But these enemies don't do that. Alright, we're gonna get the display filter tag on here. We're also gonna sort by name to make things easier. There's some bringing Dominic's out here watching me. I think we can move... do we want to move up to a normal? Let's see if we can do a normal. This is gonna take us a little bit of time. We're not actually warp in at like 14 kilometers.
Warp drive active.
Hey, missile ships.
We're under attack.
One of them has a guidance disruptor.
Shield damaged. Armor damaged.
Okay, we are taking it, okay. So this is why we got that Nosferatu.
Armor damaged. Armor damaged.
I kind of need to change the,
Armor damage.
the armor alarm amount. So, let's go down here. And we're gonna set this to like 50. We're also gonna set the shield alarm to... yeah, we're gonna set it to like 30%. Leave it at 30. 20%, fine. It kind of sucks that we're up against Caldari enemies here, because missiles have a really good time of tracking me and dealing damage. I can tell our turrets are having a little bit of a hard time tracking him, though.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
I think we're gonna give it just a minute here.
Shield damaged.
Gonna start getting rid of enemies off of the grid.
Armor damaged.
We don't worry too much about our armor here. We are gaining 109 every cycle. And we have 473 armor. So it would take me 2 or 3 cycles to really get max health. And as long as they're not doing more than 100 to me, we're fine. And actually, in some cases, we're actually getting our shield back a little bit. Although, because railguns have a tendency to hit through shields into armor, it becomes a little bit weird.
Armor damage.
There we go. The shield took the brunt of that hit. see if I can pick up any of this loot at the end here.
Armor damaged. Armor damaged.
Wave 3 could definitely be a little bit of a problem. With more enemies. So we're gonna try to lure the frigates out first. And then we'll deal with, like, destroyers and stuff. Right now we're doing okay. But I would like to see it a little bit better.
Shield damaged.
There's those missiles doing what they do best.
Enemy ships detected.
See if we can lure something out here. Okay, there is a slam. So we're gonna try to figure out which one that is. Okay, so I've got one frigate trying to catch up to me. We've got a griffin trying to catch up to me. There is a Nosferatu ship. Which one is that? The Griffin. That could be a problem. Alright, let's go ahead and orbit this one. It's gonna be a little bit of a tight fight here. But we got away from a bulk of the enemies, and we're just dealing with 3 right now. Actually, it seems like we're only dealing with the 2 now. As they start heading back into the fray. This is where that level fire would be nice, but I need that Nosferatu. I think this thing is just a Nosferatu ship. I don't think it has any actual weapons. Okay, it has some. Not much, though. You can see I'm just kind of systematically choosing which enemy I need to kill based on what ones are the fastest and which ones are the most threat.
Armor damage.
What kind of damage am I taking now? Yeah, it's pretty much all missile damage, so everything is the same damage across the board. Which is kind of worst case scenario for this ship. It really wants to be going up against enemies with 1 or 2 damage types. Preferably, it would be laser ships that I'd be up against. Welcome back, Outlaw. How you doing today?
Armor damage.
I'm pretty sure that frigate is not much of a threat to me. So we're gonna probably deal with him in a moment. Yeah. We're just gonna deal with the destroyer first. Pretty good bounty take there, 82,000. Shows you that it really does take a long time for this ship to deal with these enemies. It would be nice if we had the Executioner too. Because that afterburner bonus is going to help us a lot. It means we'll go much faster. And be able to start escaping this kind of damage a lot easier. Now, the Executioner... That's great. You can join me on the journey, then. We can both be laser monkeys. Alright. Let's have a look at that Executioner 2 real quick while I'm doing this. So we do get 2 mid slots, which means I can have a Web of Fire and a Nosferatu. That would be really good if we can get our hands on that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I grab this loot here. There's no use in wasting it. It's gonna be 9 days until we hit Tech 5.
Warp drive active.
Although that'll be cut down quite significantly.
We're under attack.
Okay, so there is a Nosferatu enemy, and it's the Mollusk. We're gonna take out that Nosferatu threat first. Okay, let's go ahead and completely nullify this destroyer here. As long as I'm going around him, he pretty much won't do anything to me. This has been a very common form of combat since the beginning of Eve Echoes, and it has only gotten more powerful as time has gone on. A lot of things have changed and been updated, and we've gotten bonuses from implants and all sorts of stuff. It is very good. Speaking of implants, it would be nice if we could get an implant early on as well. If anybody could carry me through a Dormant Realm. Yeah, if you want to join in for the small anomalies for Sancha, that'd be great. Always welcome. Alright, we got our next wave of enemies coming through here.
We're under attack.
Alright. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, I won't need any of that yet. But I would like a Dormant Realm carry at some point. So I can get a pulse crystal implant or something. I don't know, what? I know eventually I'm gonna be able to do DR1 and DR5 at some point. I just know I'm not able to do any of the others with this character without getting some help. Yeah, maybe we'll plan something like that in the future. Yeah, if we can have like a choice of implants, that would be way better. But I'm pretty sure it's DR4, and then DR3 or DR5 also has a laser implant. Not guaranteed though. I know for sure DR4 for the first time completion. You see, this ship handles railgun ships a lot easier than it does missile ships. That damage spread and constant damage application from missile ships really does a lot of damage. That's why these railgun ships are so much easier.
Enemy ships
Wait,
detected.
3?
We're under attack.
Yeah, 4-7 is blue focus. Okay. What is DR5? I feel like it's a, I wish I could have it, but they're clone bound.
Armor damaged. Armor damaged.
Mining and missile support, huh? Okay, we're taking a lot of damage there as we try to turn into this enemy.
Armor damaged.
But now we're in the circle, so we should do a lot better off. Tough. They are definitely doing some damage. My goodness. Well, let's just keep this on standby here. If we can get rid of him, it won't be too bad. But we are taking some damage. Alright,
Autopilot
we're gonna
engaged.
walk out here.
Warp drive active.
Always sketchy when enemies kinda pile up on you like that. Sometimes they can catch you in a really bad position. Which way did I come from?
Warp drive active.
And look how close I was to killing that thing.
Armor damaged.
We're still getting a little bit of extra damage, but we're fine now. I don't know. You just get caught once in a while by enemies, and you just start really hemorrhaging health. That's why you've always got to be prepared to warp out. I don't remember, is this wave 3? I'm pretty sure this is wave 3. So that's about the hardest DPS we're going to come across. Not too bad. If there was a scram or something, I would probably be dead. Yeah, we had a little bit of a close call recently.
Autopilot engaged. Warp drive active.
We're kind of pushing this ship to its limits right now, being as low skilled as we are. Welcome, Jenner.
Destined docking request accepted.
I could definitely take less risk. Alright, let's see how much it's gonna cost to repair this. Only 400 is. That's fine. I wish I could make that much on this. My god. No, if I'm lucky, I would get half that value. Yeah, you're like me, Outlaw. I love to just sit in the middle of a group of enemies and take damage. And heal damage back. Let's see. It would be Gina for 1,000... No, 14,000 ISK. If I wanted to send it to Gina. Hi, Asa. Welcome. How you doing today? Alright. So, that's pretty good so far. We're at 275,000 ISK. Doing some incursions. Yeah, definitely good. See, I really want to get this for the Succubus Dark Halo. When we get this, it's gonna get flight velocity on the gold core. Actually, probably on the main core it'll get flight velocity. And then every single one of these is gonna be uh, afterburner speed increase, shield, flight velocity, actually, flight velocity. And just pump the flight velocity as far as we can. I would love to have an insane succubus. Let's see here. We don't really have any options right now. Oh, I guess we got our bounty tick. We're now at 352,000. Not bad right now. Make some extra ISK here. Now we should have like 600,000. That is pretty good. We're about 1/4 of the way to what we need for an Executioner 2. Yeah, hopefully I can get my hands on a Succubus eventually. They're not that expensive, to be fair. Um, they're a little more expensive than they normally are. But we can't even fly one until we hit Omega. And that's why I really want that, novice certificate. All the ships that would be really nice to have are completely out of our capability. Punisher Navy issue would be so good. If I can get my hands on that Coercer Navy, We're pretty close to being able to get it. Still only has 3 low slots though, which is not great. $3.8 billion? Jeez. Oh yeah, I can't search for a contract because I'm not Omega. Okay. I guess we continue to grind for a little bit. Still got about an hour.
Undocking. Warp drive active.
I was really hoping that we would find a adaptive partner instead of a reactive.
We're under attack.
Oh goodness. Completely integrated suckiness? That's crazy. I do want to do that with the suckiness at some point. I also want to do that with the nightmare. Make it full tank.
Shield damaged.
I think a full tank nightmare will so easily deal with DR1. And I could also use it for helping with DR2 if people want to do that. But it's going to take some time. Not really sure why it's not showing our damage numbers. That's just a little odd. There we go. Ooh, that hurts. 15 billion. Wow. It must not have been, like, fully fit, because it didn't have, integrated salvagers on it for 15 billion. But yeah, that's a bad loss. Yep, Eve Echoes is definitely a game of loss and a game of chicken. Seeing who can outsmart who for the most disc. And when you lose it, you gotta make your way back. Yeah, it's definitely not the most expensive Noctis I've seen.
Detected. We're under attack.
Hey, which Wallace is this? It's probably this one.
Armor damaged.
Once I can get rid of this destroyer, it won't be too bad. Let's see, we're already out repping. Yeah, he was probably just looting a capital anomaly that he was running. That is very likely. Alright, so I've got to pay attention to wave 3. Because obviously I can't just, like, ignore it. Yeah, definitely armor hardening could help out a little bit. The capacitor need and the activation time. This is a very tanky Mollusk.
Enemy
Let's
ships
see what happens
detected.
here. Alright, so we're gonna see who decides to come after me here. Which one chases the hardest. Looks like it's gonna be this guy and this guy. Alright, let's see if I can get rid of him.
We're being warp scrambled.
There's a slam. What is the slam from the Algus? So we're going to try to deal with this Algos first. We don't have a micro warp drive, so this slam really doesn't matter unless he's doing an incredible amount of damage. So, we're just going to do our best to keep alive, get rid of this guy, and then we'll get rid of something else. I don't know what we're getting rid of next. I don't think it's that guy, though. That's a pretty fast destroyer. Let's go deal with this Mollusk. And hopefully he doesn't, like, drag me directly into the two destroyers. Yeah, it's a little bit of a bug. I don't know why it's doing that. It's just doing that. Yeah, it's a feature. Alright, this one went a lot better because I lured out a couple of enemies before I went into the middle of that mess. And I'm glad I didn't, because there was 3 destroyers sitting in the middle, which would have just outright killed me. There hasn't been much loot that dropped. And we're gonna go toward Gina here after this.
Autopilot engaged.
Alright.
Warp drive active.
Well, while 600,000 isn't a whole lot of ISK, you have to keep in mind that we started today with 0. And actually, we're gonna make a little bit more than 600,000.
Warp drive active.
That Nosferatu made a huge difference for us, because we would not be running these missions without it.
Warp drive active.
The other thing we could be doing is hauling missions, and those don't show up all that often, but we could make some ISK doing that if we really needed to.
Warp drive active.
I would love to see if we could just build one for cheaper. Yeah, 16,000 ISK.
Warp drive active.
We could probably build one for the ISK that we have right now. Or close to it. It wouldn't be too bad.
Warp drive active.
Yeah, I wonder how expensive that's gonna be.
Warp drive active.
We're almost at 800,000 now. 793,000 ISK. That is super nice.
Warp drive active.
I'm just sitting here thinking, I doubt it's gonna take us 600 million ISK. Or 2 million ISK in order to actually build the Executioner 2. Which would be a huge upgrade for us. Getting a Nosferatu and a Web of Fire with Afterburner boost.
Warp drive active.
It'll mean that it'll make it so much harder for the enemies to hit us. And we'll have more health because the Executioner 2 is actually a healthier ship. Not by much, but it's enough.
Warp drive active.
I wish we could fly an Executioner Interceptor, but that's gonna be Omega locked. We've got so much to work toward. It's insane.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active.
I should really consider putting some skills into frigate manufacturing before we get into this, though. I don't know. I don't know how much ISK it'll save me. It'll be expensive no matter what for what we have right now.
Warp drive active.
But I know we'll have at least another 100,000 ISK. Because we can sell the trainer, venture again.
How are you feeling, pilot?
Because we got it from... Oh, let me take a screenshot. Okay. Easy. But we get it from the advanced tutorial,
Warp drive active.
which is here. So we've got this, we're just waiting to claim it. We can sell this for 100,000 ISK. Early money making.
Warp drive active. Destination reached.
Alright, now, Gina is always going to be this one here in the list.
Warp drive active.
Yeah, starting with something small definitely, takes some
Docking
time.
request accepted.
Alright, we got a bunch of stuff in here, which I forgot to remove, but here it is. 275, I'll take it. It's probably better if we reprocess these. Yeah, look at that. If we just reprocess the couple of things that we had there, we get a lot more. It is so important. Alright, so we are looking for the Executioner 2, and I am particularly looking for Industry Audit. What's that going to cost? Oh, wow. That is a lot more expensive than I thought it would be. Especially considering the blueprint costs a lot less. Okay. So yeah, our best bet is just to be buying this one for 2 million. We're actually not far though.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling, pilot?
Okay, so we actually have to complete anomalies here. And it is coming along. $878,000 ISK? We're almost halfway there. Right, what do we have here? Let me remove lighting here. That's an easy one to always do.
Autopilot engaged. Undocking.
If you do not want to see any low-sec encounters, you can go to your encounters page, if it'll let me.
Warp drive active.
and you can turn off low sec. If you want the delivery missions, you have to turn on transport, and this will be all the delivery missions. Oh, jeez, I just saw that.
Warp drive active.
Where did I see? Oh, that would be so nice if I could do that. Oh, that would be really nice if I could actually accomplish that. Yeah. I don't know. Would it be against the nature of Solo Alpha to Omega? What do you guys think?
Warp drive active.
It'll get us really close to that 2 million ISK we need.
Warp drive active.
I think it would be a good idea to actually see what's gonna be there. Cause if it's gonna be like a cruiser or something, I cannot deal with that right now. Especially since it's missiles. It's like really gonna ruin this ship. I think what I want to do is I'll put a post or a poll and see if I'm allowed to use like outside help to clear a hard anomaly that I normally wouldn't be able to.
Destination reached.
You had a random dude gift you a magnate? That's great. Doing alright. 900,000 of the 2 million I need. Yeah, recommended ship, Tech 5 cruiser. I would not be able to do that right now. That's great. That's awesome.
Autopilot engaged.
Alright, well I guess I'll head back to Fort Lern. Actually,
Autopilot disabled.
maybe not. Maybe we can do a few anomalies out here. I need something easier, so the 35,000 is probably going to be the easiest one I can do out here.
Autopilot engaged.
There won't be so many enemies.
Warp drive active.
I think tomorrow I should be able to get my hands on the, Executioner too, though. I don't think I'll be able to tonight.
Warp drive active.
Alright, we got that. Go ahead and do... do I really need it?
Warp drive active.
What do I need to put this into? Yeah, you kind of missed your opportunity with the Navy issues. Maybe targeting would be best.
Destination reached. Warp drive active.
We're under attack.
Ah, it's fine.
Shield damaged.
Yeah, I'm thinking as soon as I have access to maybe the Coercer Navy issue, and I have decent skills for it, it might be able to do the small Sancha. But that's going to be a pretty big if. I know if I can get my hands on the Succubus, I can absolutely do it. But once again, that requires me having a Mega. There's a mix of missiles and railguns here. Honestly, if I can just complete a month and a half of Concord Fast, we might be really close.
Shields damaged.
Definitely at 2 months of Concord Fast, we'll have Omega. That's where we were at for the multi-boxing. Was 76 days or 72 days. No, that did not include Elite Pass. That was only the free path. And that was based on the old way. Now we can get skill chips and we can sell skill chips. Good ship with cannons for tanking. Honestly, the Tempest Navy issue, really good. I've seen quite a few people get the Macarial and the Marzio to be pretty tanky as well. But definitely that Tempest Navy issue or the bomber variant of it. The, can't remember the name of it. But those are all three very good ships.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
Maelstrom Bomber, thank you. Also a really great ship for just tanking. That's probably the best if you want to go tank, is the Maelstrom Bomber. This is going pretty well. Not bad at all. Certainly a little bit easier than what we were getting out of the 45,000 missions. These are just really hard. Would be nice. It's only 25 hours. It's honestly maybe possible for the Executioner 2 to do the small Sancha stuff if it can get enough DPS. Which is kind of wild.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
Wait a minute here. Let's see what happens here. It looks to me like the two griffins are gonna be a problem. Honestly, I might be able to go kill that, condor first. Yeah, we're definitely taking a lot of damage here. That's just kind of the problem with...
Armor damage.
Goodness. We're kind of keeping up. It's not great, though.
Shield
There we go.
damage.
Yeah, I've got a couple of thoughts on that. If you have multiple accounts that can roll missions, then go for a high-set capital, because you'll be able to keep it with content to run. If you don't have content to run, you're better off just running 2 battleships. If you're only a single player, even just one battleship will outperform a Cyan in terms of, like, keeping you going. And it's just really bad to try to run a Cyan through standard missions. It really needs the labs. If it wants to be viable compared to a battleship. Like, if they took the current encounter system and added an extra difficulty level for capital ships, then you would see Cyan do really well and outperform battleships. But, as it sits right now, a battleship is going to do what a Cyan can do. Alright, we got our next tutorial complete, which will give us planetology and destroyer command. Mark 1 afterburner, not even worth it. Tutorial 4 would be nice. I could sell one of these, maybe?
Autopilot engaged. Warp drive active.
But yeah, if they took expert mode and, like, made one extra called, like, master or something like that, you would see high-sec capital being a lot more viable. Yes, this is one of my alts. How you doing, Double Vision? Welcome. We are on the grind of Alpha to Omega with lasers.
Warp drive active.
Last time we did this, we did it as a multi-box scenario with missiles and drones. And this year I want to do it with lasers. But as a solo. Yeah, definitely. That's been a big problem for Eve Echo's community in general. Is like, there's no content creators that cover the events anymore.
Warp drive active. Docking request accepted.
Alright. We are almost at 1,000,000. I'm gonna wait for this bounty take. We'll hit the bounty take and then we'll call it a day. Started today with no ISK. And after about 3.5 hours, we got 1,000,000. Oh boy. It'll go a lot smoother once we get a little bit more skills, once we get another tech level. It will all be good. See, we've got to get one more level of Afterburner. Wonder if that would be better than friggin' engineering, actually. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, I'll do Afterburner, because 35 hours isn't too bad. It'll help us out. Yeah, Concord Pass, kinda hurts. I will definitely say it hurts, but since they did the recent update, you can now get these skill chests. And the industrial skills are not bad. Let me see if I can find one here. But, like, the advanced, exhumer drones, they actually sell for quite a bit on that. And you can actually sell these. I was also looking at, like, the advanced mining lasers here. Not a huge amount of ISK on that. Strip miners was okay. So you can make some ISK again. And actually you'd be able to make a little bit more doing that. But I have no idea if this is gonna stay or not, or how often this is gonna recycle. If they decide to never re-up these, or if they decide to just remove them altogether, we're back to having no ISK from Concord Pass. Alright, there was our bounty tick there. 64, that's not great. But we did do a cheap mission. Alright. We made it to 1,000,000. Alright. That will be it for me today. We just spent 3.5 hours getting through this character, its tutorial, and starting to make ISK. Let's see where we're at. So we've got all of this here. We have a Tormentor, Imperior, Magnate, a Coercer, and the Coercer Special. If we can get the Destroyer command skills, that'll be pretty nice. Getting the additional small laser operation would be nice. But it's honestly, I think I would rather have the Executioner too. I think the Executioner 2 with the Afterburner increase and the frigate command damage. Yeah, I'll put out that poll on Discord. Speaking of which. There you go, that's the Discord. If you want to join into that, we talk about all sorts of things, whether it be updates, ships, fix, anything. If you have a question, we'll do our best to answer that for you. And this is going to be the beginning of our Laser Alpha to Omega playthrough. I will see you all again tomorrow, so long as we don't have that same internet issue we had today. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, and be safe.